So what is the reflective exercise, and do you have to do it?
Everybody has to do it by the end of the cycle, which is 31st of December 2024, if you'd like to stay on the register. The idea is you're going to get together with a peer and you're going to look at the CPD that you've done over the 3-year cycle and have a look at your personal development plan, which by now hopefully you've written and uploaded. If you haven't, do that. And you're going to reflect on what you've done, any gaps in your knowledge, anything that you maybe need to do in the next cycle, how it's influenced your practice. So you can do this little meeting, you can do it online, you can do it in person, you can do it on the phone. The key thing at the moment is to identify the peer that you're going to do it with. So find that person and work out, are they a suitable peer as well?
So who would be considered a peer? Who can you use and who can't you use?
There are certain categories. It can be your employer, it can be a line manager, it can be another optometrist or a dispensing optician, or it could be another healthcare professional. What doesn't count as a peer would be a close relative or friend or an employee. So if you're the manager in that practice, you might need to actually find someone who isn't sort of below you in the power structure. You will need to get the other person's GOC number and an email address by which the GOC may well even contact them to confirm that they did do the exercise with you. If they're not a GOC registrant, then it will be their professional registration number, whichever category they fall under.
How long do you think it will take?
The amount of time it takes isn't particularly prescriptive, so it takes as long as it takes. But really the point is to have a deep dive into the work that you've done. Have a think about, well, what gaps are there? What do I need to plug? What do I do in practice mostly? And what's my scope of practice? And are there areas that I'd like to move into, or do I need to do some more CPD on the areas that I currently work in? Am I keeping myself up to date?
And so step 2 is, there's no specificity on where you do it, on how you do it. It's just you sit down and you look through what? Is it a series of questions?
Yes, you're going to sit down and go through, each of you will go through your personal development plan. You're really trying to relate it to what you do in practice. How has this CPD that you've done influenced the way you've practiced? Has it influenced the way you practice? Should it have done? Is there something you need to change? Is there a little bit more learning you could do that could help you implement that in practice? Do you need to find other bits of CPD to help you do that? Well, one thing to note is it can be via video links. You could do a Zoom call or an MS Teams call. It could be on the phone, it could be in person.
And I assume also the reality is if you fail to achieve one of your goals, that is part of the reflective exercise.
If you didn't actually achieve a particular learning outcome, well, just reflect on why was that? Was there no opportunity? Was it actually, I found that I wasn't interested in this after all, and actually I went down this route instead. So as long as you're reflecting on that and you've got a good reason why you didn't particularly achieve a learning outcome, that's perfectly okay. 3 years is a long time, isn't it, in practice? A lot can change. New fields come out, for example, or suddenly you find yourself seeing a lot of patients with this particular condition, or suddenly your practice decide to push myopia management, and I need to now add that to my list of skills. So yeah, it may well not have gone where you planned, and that's okay.
And so step 3, what happens then? Do you submit it to the GOC?
Yes, so you need to go into your My GOC account, and you'll find now that there is live a template that you can use. Fill in the boxes, use the prompts in those boxes to help you work on those things. Save it and submit it before the 31st of December 2024. Otherwise, it won't count.
Do you think this is a valuable part of practice?
Sometimes you can just sort of flounder your way through CPD, just finding things that come along. But personally, it's made me think about what I want to target. For example, we bought a new piece of dry eye kit in our practice. So suddenly I had to focus on dry eye and improving my knowledge in that area. So as part of the PDP, I put that in, and then a few months later, I revisited my PDP and had a little look and thought, I have done quite a lot on dry eye, and maybe I need to look at this other learning outcome. So yeah, it has kind of helped me direct what I've been doing. It doesn't take an awfully long time, but reflective learning is a way of helping you get that knowledge to stick as well.
And what happens if you haven't done a PDP?
It's not too late. I mean, you really ought to have done it, earlier on in the cycle, but some people join later in the register, or they've thought about it earlier and then didn't upload it. That's okay. There's still time to do a personal development plan, and some of that now might be a little bit retrospective as well, looking at what you've done so far and creating learning outcomes for that. But it's perfectly okay to change that PDP, you can change it as many times as you like throughout a cycle. It's an evolving document. It's supposed to change over time. You're supposed to revisit it and look back at what you've done and make alterations, change direction if you need to. That's perfectly okay. It's not just looking back, it's looking forwards as well. So that reflective exercise is planning for the next cycle. What do I need to focus on? So even if you've just joined the register or you've come back after a career break, you will need to submit a reflective learning exercise before the 31st of December.